Top 5 reasons why you should move to Tampa Bay, Florida. Hi, my name is Kimberly Falker, and I'm a licensed real estate agent here in the Tampa Bay, Florida area. And I've created this channel to inform, educate, and kind of motivate you to consider making a move down to the Florida area, specifically Tampa Bay. And if you like what you see and you're interested in seeing any more videos or learning a little bit more about the Tampa Bay, Florida area and why you should consider making a move, then go ahead and subscribe below, as I'll be adding new episodes or shows to this channel weekly. And I look forward to staying in touch. But for now, let's go ahead and get started with the 5 reasons why you should move to Tampa Bay. Reason number 1, the weather is amazing. It's beautiful here, almost year round. It gets a little hot, but not too terribly hot. And I'd far prefer that. In fact, just a few weeks ago, I was up in Minnesota for a week, and 2 of the days that we were there, it was 12 below and 18 below. So I far prefer the weather here. In fact, in January, which is the month that we're in right now, the average temperature is 73. That's not so bad. In the year in Florida, there are 237 days of sunshine. So that's not a whole lot to complain about. Being in Minnesota, again, reminded me of how grateful I am to be here in Florida. And I'm not that unfamiliar with Minnesota. I was born and raised here in Florida. My family moved here in 1964. And so I grew up here. After college, went to law school, practiced law up in Boston, met and married my husband, who's from Minnesota, and nobody warned me that they all go back to Minnesota. Moved to Minnesota, lived there for almost 20 years, raised my kids there, and finally convinced my husband to move down to Florida. It's been a game changer. I have to say, I have both perspectives now, and Tampa Bay, Florida is just ideal weather-wise. He plays golf every day. We take long walks. It's just, the weather here is amazing. So that is definitely reason number 1. Reason number 2 to move to Tampa Bay, Florida area is the beaches. We have some of the top-rated beaches in the entire country. Year after year, top destination, this area for vacation. The sand is sugar sand. It's just gorgeous. The beaches are deep. The water, I don't love huge waves. The water here is a little bit more calm, and it's just gorgeous. The sand is so pretty. So Tampa itself doesn't have a ton of beaches per se. They have a lot of recreational water opportunities. So you drive over to Pinellas County to where the beaches are, and it's really quite fascinating because from Clearwater Beach is kind of the north part of the peninsula, all the way down to the further south, right before the Sunshine Skyway. So we have a very big county in Pinellas County. But what's really interesting is there are 10 different municipalities of beaches. So every beach has its own little municipality, and they all have their own personality. And it's so fun to explore and learn the different beaches in this area. Clearwater Beach is kind of more renowned for touristy, chartered fishing boats, the pirate boats, the speed boats, the dolphin tours, and more of the big vibe. And you keep on moving further south and you have different personalities. Like, for instance, one of the examples I have is Indian Rocks Beach. Super chill, super laid back, very Jimmy Buffett, flip-flops, smaller, quieter, but just is still fun. You get down to St. Pete Beach, that's a different energy too. So every beach, all 10 beaches up and down the Pinellas County coastline, if you will, have different personalities. So it's worth visiting and moving here so that you can experience all of it. And what's really great is no matter where you live in all the Tampa Bay area, these beaches are just moments away. You can get there so easily. So you can have a destination weekend if you live over in Tampa, or you can just on a weekday or weeknight go for dinner at the different beaches and have a different experience. It's almost like a whole different state in many ways. So that's reason number 2, is the beaches are just outstanding, which in tying into the beaches is you have to include the sunset. The sunsets are reason number 3 for moving to the Tampa Bay area. And that sounds crazy to say that you would move just for a sunset, but I can't even tell you how outstanding the sunsets are here in the Tampa Bay area. You go down to the beaches, really anywhere in any of Tampa Bay, but particularly if you're at the beaches, you got to get there for the sunsets. Every night is a different display of amazement. I remember as a kid going to the beach with my family. We'd bring a picnic there, and when people would come in from out of town, we'd always make sure that we were there in the afternoon into the sunset, because it's memorable. And even as a teenager in high school, we'd go down, we'd hang out, cruise the beach, and be there for the sunset. And I remember my friends and I would say, I can't believe we get to be here for free and see this amazing experience. And it's true. People pay thousands of dollars to come on vacation here. You live here, you get to see it for free. In fact, since we moved back down here from Minnesota, my kids and husband and I go down there to our favorite sandside restaurant. Instead of going to the movies at night, we go down to the beach and watch the sunset at night. And there have been multiple times, I must say, you can ask my clients this, where I've had out-of-town people that want to move down here, maybe get a vacation property, or more specifically move down here full-time. They're kind of on the fence. I take them to my favorite sandside restaurant right around sunset, and over dinner, watching the sunset happening, thinking about it. We're, in flip-flops in January. Definitely they write an offer. I've had so many friends that were clients at the time that are now become friends that have moved down here because of our experience sandside during the sunset. Yeah, the sunsets in Florida are just outstanding. Now, reason number 3 might be actually kind of unexpected. And it actually was a little bit unexpected to me. And I didn't really learn about this until 2020 during quarantine. The Tampa Bay, Florida area has some of the most amazing parks. And I would tell this to people that are looking to move down here, because there's so many unique opportunities to experience just amazing parks. In fact, in the Tampa Bay, Florida area alone, there are 81,000 plus acres of protected parkland. And some of these parks have boardwalks out to the water, others have canoe opportunities, some have camping on the sand. But what's really great about the parkland, the protected parks that are around here, is they've protected kind of the old Florida vegetation and wildlife, and you can actually see what Florida used to feel like. When I grew up here as a kid, Florida looked totally different than it does now because it's been so built out. But the vegetation, like kind of the old Florida vibe, that's the deep south feeling, is protected, so you can actually experience it. And I think that it's well worth coming down here, and when you move here, to actually take time to go and experience the parks. In fact, over quarantine, my parents decided to make it a goal to try and hit a different park every day of quarantine and go walk the different parks. So they never even touched enough of them, but they saw some places even in their hometown that they had never seen before. They're kind of, some of them are hidden in areas, but there a lot of money and work have gone behind these parks, and they're just amazing. So that, to me, is reason number 3, is the parks here. All right, so let's get out of the outdoors, or the nature part. And reason number 4 to move to the Tampa Bay area is the arts and the culture. And not everyone would think about that when you think about Tampa Bay, Florida, or Florida in general, but the arts here in Tampa Bay, Florida is just outstanding. If you're in Tampa, you have the Strauss Center, which is an amazing arts facility where they bring in the opera, the musicals, the high-level quality music. And then attached to the Strauss Center, they have the Patel Conservatory, which is a performing arts conservatory for training. It has some of the top musical arts and ballet in the entire country for training for children or young adults. And then you also have the Amelie Arena, which is where the Lightning performs, and they bring in a lot of big names there. And then you have the Raymond James Stadium, which is where the Bucks play, and that's where they bring a lot of big names. So you have a lot of big venues for music. In fact, at Raymond James, where the Bucks play, was where my very first concert that I attended in 9th grade occurred, which was the Eagles and Jimmy Buffett. Then you head over to Pinellas County, and we have Ruth Eckerd Hall that brings in a lot of huge Broadway performers and music performers. And then you go down to St. Pete, which is in Pinellas County, and then you have the Dahlia Museum. You have a ton of arts museums, and throughout both areas, all in Tampa Bay, there's a ton of music, live music. It's becoming very arts and culturally focused. So that's kind of an unknown, but it's definitely reason number 4 for moving to Tampa Bay, Florida. And reason number 5, I cannot even skip this, super important, is the sports. The sports in Tampa Bay is bonkers right now, as we all know. We've got the Bucks and Tom Brady. We have the Lightning, who just won the Stanley Cup. We have the Rays that have done very, very well, and they're fun to see. The Rowdies, the soccer team, just did extremely well. And then with that, we also have 6 Major League Baseball teams that do their spring training in the area, so you can actually go and watch some of those games. We have a lot of minor baseball teams around. And then, of course, we've got the winners of the area, which hence the fact the dynasty, now known as Tampa Bay, just so fun. But it's been so great to have such big wins in the area, and the energy during the Lightning Stanley playoff. My husband and I went to some of the playoff games, not the ones they were in town where the ticket price was outlandish, but when they were out of town, and for just a nominal amount, you could go to the arena and they would have, you felt like you were there in person, like the energy was so fabulous. And then of course, after both teams won their big championships, they did a huge boat parade down the Hillsborough River, and you go there and just the energy and the weather, everything's just really kind of vibrant in this area, and it keeps getting better. I just have to say, it keeps getting better. So that's it for the 5 reasons why I think you should move to the Tampa Bay area. And certainly I would love for you to reach out to me if you have any questions. Clearly, I love the Tampa Bay area, and I look forward to sharing with you more information. Do follow me on this channel, as I'm going to be including more and more videos about unique information, kind of hidden secrets about the area, different neighborhoods and such. So I look forward to the next episode.